on the spine or the different cervicals. What does it mean? What it can be related to. So I'm seeing this kind of modality more recognized, understood because the body is a holistic system of intelligence. So it's becoming more present, on multiple levels. Um, and it might take time for to have more and more professionals who've been trained by the traditional way in school and all of it. The body cannot be just look at my lower back hurts, we'll fix that, and then come back when you feel better. Because whenever you're addressing the lower back, it may be what that hurts, but the issue may be somewhere else. So the body has to be listened to and approached as a holistic system that works together, that communicate with each other. It's very much of a whole system, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it absolutely does. All right. Well, it's very interesting. Now, what is multidimensional frequency healing? How does that work?
Well, it's the same principle, I would say, like Reiki. I don't know if you're familiar with Reiki,
Yeah,
or a lot of
yeah,
people. No. Are you familiar with Reiki?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I not as a someone who could do it, but somebody who's been on the other end of it. Yes.
Okay, nice. Very, very nice. So if you look at Reiki, for example, or pranic healing, it's a transmission of energy or working with the body inner chi to help to restore what may be blocked or preventing the flow of vitality in the body. So if you look on the multidimensional level, well, it's simply adding the other layers that is non-physical, like, for example, the subtle body of light. So, for example, you have your physical body, but you also have an emotional body, a mental body, an astral, and so forth. And each of these layers of energy have a huge influence on the body. For example, let's say you get a very big shocking news and it really throw you off and you go like, man, that really threw me off balance and this is a big hit, almost like you got punched in the stomach or your heart
Yeah.
is heavy. Well, what happened is that your emotional body is very active. So if that initial shock is not recognized properly and clear, and if it's sustained, then physically it will create a physical manifestation in the body. Next thing you know, your stomach burns, you're not able to sleep, or something happens. So when we look at working with holistically with the body, we understand that there's a multidimensional counterpart to it that is just as important as the body itself with all the internal organs, all the internal systems. But the body is pure energy. It really is. So the multidimensional counterpart of these layers, well, we have to look into it. Because if something is hidden or unresolved in these layers or the multidimensional energetic layers, well, chances are it will come to manifestation physically. So it can create, for example, a chronic pattern, like chronic migraine, where this is coming from, or digestive issue or GI tract issue that is just chronic and comes back again and again, and there's no logic, physical explanation for it. That can be a cause. So the multidimensional healing is just taking into account that your body is much more than a physical dense. There's other aspect to it, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yes, it does. Not to jump around, but I'm pretty good at that, I guess. Star seeds. Tell me a little bit about star seeds. Like what are the star seeds, and yeah, kind of give me a little bit of a history on the star seeds.
Yeah, totally. Starseed, starseed is a word that categorizes basically a soul fragment or a soul aspect of a being or soul who come from another planet or another galactic system, like let's say from Sirius or the Pleiades or Andromeda, and that soul send an aspect of itself to come here on the planet and reincarnate as an Earth human. And there's multiple reasons for that, whether it's for the sole purpose of learning what it feels like to be a human, or to bring frequencies, or to support others with their presence. Those who are star seeds know exactly what I speak of. You can feel it. There's a sense of knowingness, a sense of your family is somewhere else, and you're just coming through into a family that you borrow from. Sometimes it feels like it, or you're just a part of for the ride. There's a sense of deeply identifying when you look up at the stars. You can feel there's a calling at the soul level. So star seeds are very important because they support the, the Earth evolution, they support human beings evolution, to come to learn, to support, to bring new light, to bring new perspective. So star seeds are beautiful and they come from everywhere. I mean, it's just there's no limit, really, really. Like I said, there's many star seeds from Syrian, for example, Sirius, um, and those would be maybe from Alpha Century, or or the star of Vega. There's many other places that they come here. If you accept that the Earth is part of a very large community, that there's all of life, diversity of life, just as much diversity of life there is on this planet. Look at just how much life we have here. Well, chances are there's just as much diversity of life in the cosmos. We're part of a huge community. So the star seeds are categorized as an aspect of soul essence or soul fragments who come from other home worlds, and they come here to experience this very unique Earth experience here. Very unique.
Yeah, yeah, it is awful unique, isn't it? And I'll tell you, it seems like it's gone crazy lately, but maybe that's I don't know, maybe it's a timeline we're in, possibly. I guess it's just it seems off a little. You don't feel it? You don't
Well,
think? You don't? What do you think? You think we're? Uh, I don't know. It seems like everything's tilted a bit. People are. I don't know. People are a little out of their minds these days, but maybe that's just my observation. I don't know, but I see a lot of crazy things every day now. A lot more than I used to. Um, so, and speaking of timelines, the Earth ascension timeline. What I mean, are we anywhere near that?
well, we are like 2024. And 2024 is a brand new year. We already are in that experience of a new timeline. A new timeline is just another word to refer to a calendar year or another cycle on the planet. We've been going through so many cycles. Of course, there's a lot of changes on the planet. People are waking up more. People are asking different questions. People are starting to realize there's more to this reality than what is you've been programmed to believe. From growing up, go to school, apply yourself, get a degree, get a good job, pay your debt, settle in, and then when you can retire, then you can go live your life. This is a completely old cliche that we are shifting completely. So there's a huge awakening on the planet, and what it means is that people are starting to recognize more profound core values, more greater understanding of who they are, want to be more in community, reaching out to each other. The way we communicate is shifting. It's all natural evolution. I think we are in a big, beautiful timeline of evolution, and the invitation is to allow and accept that evolution and see where it takes you. Takes you beyond the mundane or the chit chat of the weather and all of it to know there's more profound aspect to you, more profound meaning to your life experience, and what is the wisdom you have learned from your own life journey, regardless of what it is. There's always wisdom to it. And so I feel like we are in that timeline of evolution.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we're going through some things right now. I could tell you, as a planet. I think I hear constantly hear it's a spiritual war, between good and evil, and it kind of feels that way right now. Like it's just a special kind of time here on this planet. It feels like so. Quantum DNA. Someone asked about quantum DNA. They said there's 12 strands. What does it mean, quantum DNA?
Well, again, the word quantum really it's leading the way to the next phase of expansion, evolution, and transformation. So the DNA is shifting. That two double helix configuration DNA that is shifting, moving back into the original DNA, which is more fuller 12 strand. So again, that really ties up with the timeline evolution we just talked about. That means your DNA is shifting, your consciousness is shifting, the way your body is shifting. Some people can feel like their vitality is moving, or they're able to hold more energy, or being in sync more with their body. So are you living on autopilot based on what you've learned, or are you allowing to go in on the uncharted territories and being able to understand more your path, your journey, your gifts, with your own abilities? So the DNA is shifting in the same pace as the consciousness of people growing, expanding on the planet. So we're finally going to eventually return to a more fully activated 12 strand. And that's going to really support everyone in terms of regaining access to greater abilities. What about your ability to be able to self-heal yourself and self-healing? Being able to reattune just by concentrating your vitality or energy to an organ and says, okay, I'm going to help this organ to return to its perfect healthy state. It sounds like far-fetched, but it's all possibility that becomes much more available. So it's all intertwined. If you start to see the bigger picture here, it's much more intertwined.
Yeah. Okay. And well, Vivian, I want to take a break here for a moment. We're going to come back, and you and I will talk a little bit more. So hang on with me for a moment, folks. I have Vivian Chavette with me, and we've been talking about energy healing. We're going to get into a couple other areas like the Galactic Federation, for one, when we return. You're listening and watching The Last Frequency on the VARA network. We are up over on YouTube now. It wasn't at first, but I fixed it. Multitasking while I'm on the air. I'm starting to get good at it. All right, so hang on with us, folks. We will be back in just a few minutes. Go on over to the VARA network and, well, become a member for one. And, well, if you like what you got here, help us out. Hit that donate button because, all the stuff we do, it's not free. And, the more we get, the more we can do, just for the record. All right, let's take this break, and I better mute you over there on the video.
Excellent, excellent.
Number one means you're always on top. Your number one radio.
You're listening to the VARA network.
Hey, frequencies of all walks of life. Keep up with all things TLF Radio by joining our mailing list. Go to the bottom of the homepage and fill in the form. You'll get everything from guest info and show info and other important station-related information. So sign up now.
Crazy ass bumper stickers and more.
What?
You heard me. Crazy ass bumper stickers and more.
What?
Crazy ass bumper stickers and more.
What?
For all your bumper sticker needs, just click on the Crazy Ass Bumper Stickers banner located at the foot of my website, www.lastfrequency.com. That's Crazy Ass Bumper Stickers and more.
You're making me crazy.
You're listening to The Last Frequency with Mike Vara.
Do you want to hear the truth about the far out, the out of the box, and the things that go bump in the night? Do you want to explore the mysteries of time and space, conspiracies and politics, and everything else that the mainstream media won't tell you? Then tune in to The Last Frequency Radio, the show that covers it all with host Mike Vara. He will take you on a journey of discovery and enlightenment and challenge your assumptions and beliefs. Whether it's UFOs, paranormal, Bigfoot, forbidden archaeology, or government cover-ups, he will bring you the facts and the opinions that matter. The Last Frequency Radio is live weeknights at 9 p.m. Eastern on lastfrequency.com. You can also listen to past shows on our website and Rumble. And don't forget to check out the shop for some cool merchandise. The Last Frequency Radio is your source for the ultimate truth. When all communications go down, this just may be your last frequency.
This is
The Last Frequency.
You are the resistance.
From the great Southeast, in the capital city, Columbia, South Carolina, you're listening to The Last Frequency with your host, Mike Vara. To get questions to Mike, just go to the portal page on the website or give a call at 803-369-3629. Now, here is Mike Vara.
The call from him the other day. So looking forward to catching up with Peter on the air. Okay, let's get back to it with my guest. If you got any questions, you can get those to me a few ways. Well, a couple ways tonight. You could do it on the portal, and that'll go right to my email, and I'll see it. Or you can call in 803 369 3629. But if you're going to, just wait a little bit because I got some questions. All right. So, Vivian, we are back. The Galactic Federation. I've heard a lot about the Galactic Federation in the past. I've heard of a couple of them, different ones. So, tell me a little bit about the Galactic Federation.
Thank you for asking. Think of it that it almost looks like in the series Star Trek when you go with the United Nations of the great planets, Star Trek, and
Yeah.
all of it. It sounds like sci-fi. But if you look at what Gene Roddenberry created, it was really to introduce the concept that there is this kind of association of different home worlds, groups who come together to discuss different matters, whether it's what's going on the Earth, whether it's helping another planet or civilization. It's just we're simply coming back into rediscovering this kind of renewed reality that's much more than a sci-fi series popularized, back in the 60s, and then there's so many Star Trek series at the back with Next Generations and Voyager and Deep Space Nine and all of it. But it really is that concept. That's why I utilize this example that it's so easy to relate to. It's the concept it represents. It reintroduces us on the conscious level that there are many councils, there are many associations, just like here on the planet, and the United Nations, and there's many world network and government and organization. Well, it's the same thing in the multiverse. So it's just to help us realize that we are part of something huge, not just our little mundane life every day. There's something much more. And I like that. I want to, be part of that energy, that evolution, that council, of that associations that comes together. Can you imagine if we were to reorganize here on the planet an association that represent all the country, but from a place of contributing, supporting communities, all of it? That would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it would be incredible.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what is their role with us right now? What's their major interest with Earth? I mean, I'm sure there's lots of other planets out there with life, and and I'm sure they probably know about it, right? So, what's so fascinating about us?
It's not about that it's fascinating. It's just about that the Earth is on the verge of a huge evolution. I mean, that's the end of a very, very old cycle. Talk about a 26,000 years old cycle, and creating such a spiritual reawakening. And so if you look at the planet is on the verge of taking another huge leap forward in the state of its evolutionary process, along with an entire civilization. Well, of course, an association like the Federation and others will have an interest to learn from it, really bring support, guidance, teachings, helping to stabilize the process. There's many ways to help without interfering in the evolutionary process itself, that we have to learn from it. But at the same time, the effect, the implication of seeing a planet shifting into dimensional state, it's a huge project. It's like saying, you've been, let's say, the director of this network of school, and you know that one of your school is about to get a huge reward, an award, and that school is going to lead the way to the next level of education. So as a director of that huge network of school, you're going to have a keen interest in that one particular institution, because it can lead the way for the others to implement the same curriculum or progress or new way of teaching to children. So it's something very similar that the earth is just really ready to take on the next level of expansion. And of course, that will generate interest for what it is. Again, the example of the director, if you're the director of a large network of school all over the country, and one of them is really going to thrive, and you will want to be part of it to understand what went right for that school so you can help the others maybe implement something similar. So that's a good visual to have.
Yeah, I would say so. Now, have you yourself had communication with any of these off-world entities?
Yes, when I do my healing work, oftentimes the clients' star group will come. So, for example, if I work with someone who is connected to the Syrians, they'll come and I will know because, I have the visions. I can see them. I can feel. I relay the messages to that person. Says, hey, you have a group of Syrians working with you right now because you know them. They've been with you in past incarnations, and they will come back today to supporting you, moving through what you're going through, whether it's healing on the body, whether it's helping to understand some of the challenges you just went through. And so I will get those connections very strongly, because when I am in service, that's where all of my gifts come much more active. So it opened a channel. It facilitates the receiving end for me to get in tune with these groups. And it's not a big secret in the sense that it only depends on your level of receptivity. Do you accept? Are you in tune with this? And it's really about what state of consciousness are you in. So, for example, through my practice, sometimes I have come encountering people who are under the influence of substance, whether it's smoking, drinking. Well, in that level, we speak to different language. We're no longer in the same level of reality. So that will block their receptivity. That will create blockages. And I will tell the client, I cannot work with you that way because I'm going to feel like I'm going to speak to you a foreign language. It's going to go well above your head. You're not in that frame of state right now. So I'm going to make recommendation. But somebody else will come who is meditating, been on their path, been clearing their path, been much more in sync, and the channels are super open. Now I can, if it's appropriate for them, and one of their group connections or maybe a loved one or a guide, so one of these intergalactic groups come to connect with them. If it's positive and serves the highest and the greatest good of all, then more power to the person, and then I'm going to relay whatever information it's appropriate for that person to receive. So again, it really depends on where are you right now? Are you under an influence? Are you going through a challenge that shuts you down? Are you open and clear and receptive? Then it changed the dynamic.
Well, that's the question, isn't it? I wonder how people react when when they finally, I don't know, what is their plan to finally make contact and actually be here amongst us?
Well, yes, in a sense that they're already here. There's already, for thousands of years, the earth has been visited. It's nothing new. I mean, look at all the great architecture in the world, like the Pyramid of Giza, all the pyramids like in Bolivia, Peru, all the sacred sites, the writings, all the Aboriginal tribes with their oral traditions from their elders teaching the youngest about the star people. Here in the U.S., we have the great nations, the Zuni nations, the Navarro, the Hopi. We have, so many of them that has been in communication, and it's normal. There's nothing mystical about it. It all depends on your upbringing. If you're more adhere to religion, or is this kind of topic fascinate you, but at the same time there's still a bit of skepticism that it's going to just create more barriers for you. Nonetheless, it changes nothing to the fact that the Earth, for thousands of years, is rich, very rich in history, with interconnections with star beings and writings and petroglyphs and sites that is digging out, like artifacts and all of it. I mean, it's just look at. Are you familiar, Mike, with the show Ancient Aliens?
Oh, yes, very familiar.
Of course, of course. I had a feeling, but just asking. Well, I got to meet these guys when they came to Phoenix. I got to meet them. And what is the commonality among them, the team, I mean, is that they've done many shows. They've gone to many places. But they all agree around the fact that there's some site they're not able to explain it logically, even with professor and archaeologists and carbon-based chemical analysis. They're not able to explain how this subject or how this happened or how this, reminiscence of a village or structures are so old, so ancient. So there's a lot of things like that. If you start to look at all the evidence in the world, I call it the breadcrumbs. You start to put the dots together, and that's what we say. The famous phrase "as above, so below." It also speaks of that. There's so much here on the planet. I mean, Ancient Aliens, that show alone digs out a lot and go places that I wouldn't think of going, for example, and they present those so-called evidence, and then you have to use your intuition, see how does it feel to you.
Yeah.
And I would say, yeah, very much so. The day I met the crew, it was to a presentation, and there was a lot of people there, and there's a lot of people saying, it's almost like it triggers ancient memories in people, or deja vu, or feeling of familiarity, or it will trigger a deeper curiosity because who knows, they may have been there in another lifetime, and they're just rediscovering the aspect of their own past lives. So it's all interconnected, very much so.
Yeah, yeah. I've always thought about doing some kind of regression to see about past lives, but I don't know. Maybe it's better. I'm better off not knowing, because I think I'm the kind of guy that if I knew, like I knew I had kids in a past life, I'd be trying to find them. They might be old people right now, but something like that. Or maybe something that I owned. I'd want, just who knows? You want confirmation, so you'd go trying to look for it. It would distract me from my current life, maybe.
And you're making an excellent point here. You're making a really good point. So past lives are designed really much so, and I do that too with my clients. I always says, past lives are like just a point of reference to help you better understand who you are today. Your past lives are never designed to be a source of distraction.
Yeah.
So that's a powerful point here. And yes, there will be curiosity. Let's say somebody tells you, oh, in your past lives you were in, the French Revolution, and you're the one who invented this device. Well, you will want to dig it out and maybe search if the device still exists today, and do all of this. And it may serve a purpose as long as it has nothing to do with creating a distraction from living today. And that's a huge one. And that's one thing that when you start working with beings of light, archangels, teachers, masters, all of it, one thing they repeat a lot is your actual lifetime is your most important one. Stay focused, stay present, stay involved with it. Everything else, all the clues or the validation will come along the way. It's like going onto an archaeology dig. You say, okay, what is the purpose of me digging in the past here? What do I need to know? But then when it's done, move on. Don't get so, attached to it. You have
Yeah.
to be able to be fluid,
It's like
right?
an X. X's are X's for a reason, right? Don't go backwards, go forward.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, Mike. Moving
Abs-
forward for sure.
yeah, oh, absolutely. So, would you consider yourself a hybrid or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And why so?
Well, because I know that let's just say that my body receives help from my star family and, helping with the DNA and helping with other aspects of my body. So I know that my body is the hybrid, not me, but my body is considered as a hybrid form because of the genetic blend I received to support me here in my mission. So in that sense, yes.
All right. And so I guess so. There's lots of hybrids then that are amongst us. I mean, I really believe that there's extraterrestrial beings who are here and walking amongst us, and that they can make themselves look just like us, and maybe they're hybrids themselves. Is that fair or no?
I would say more or less it's a complex topic, but let's make it simple. They are star beings who are living on the planet. Yes, some of them may have the ability to make you project a form that may be more comfortable to you. Others are more comfortable, like shapeshifters, and others are not. It really depends on the species. It depends on where they come from. And hybrids usually, the word hybrid has many meanings. It can be while the mother was pregnant with the child, the star group came and just helped to add some additional gene to help the soul that will come in this body to support the soul better in their life. That would be considered as a hybrid. Or sometimes there are, you know, I have encountered in the past clients where the father was part of the military, whichever country, doesn't matter, but part of the military, and there was some experiment, and they volunteered our kids. And they say, well, let's use my daughter or my son, and then we'll introduce some extra gene that we took from ET beings from previous research, and that will be considered as a hybrid. Or there'll be those who will carry, the body will be a mix between human and an ET parent, but they look a lot human and they can live on the planet, but they're also another form of hybrid. So there's different connotation around the word hybrid. It's not that one size fits all. You have to look at what you're looking at. What is the circumstance, the situation around it? What is the purpose? So there's many ways to call hybrids, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it absolutely does. And what about seeding? Are they, to put it mildly, are they have they been seeding the planet? I mean, I've heard of well, I've had guests on who said that they've were pregnant, and then one day I guess they're pregnant, and the next day the baby's gone. They were like abducted, and the child would be taken out of their womb, and I don't know, the rest of the growth would happen wherever they take it, I guess. But um, are they seeding the planet? And if so, I mean, what is the purpose behind it?
Well, not really. In relation to the example you just gave, that's a whole different ball game. That's a
Yeah,
different type of hybrids. That's because at the soul level there's an agreement, and these other civilizations or either extraterrestrial group will need the human DNA, the human DNA, and the human genome to create a hybrid race to either stabilize their own genetics or help them evolve, or helping to maybe correct something that they lost in their own genetics due to either war on the planet or destructions or pollutions or there's many factors, so it's not that simple. And so usually the way you describe it is the mother will carry the fetus to up to a certain level, and then they're going to take the extraterrestrial group carefully will extract the fetus and is brought to term. But those hybrids are never meant to be on the earth. They could never survive here. They're meant to be with their star families, and it's a whole different dynamic. After time is to really help repair maybe genetic loss after generations and generations, and then they lost something, and then they need the human DNA to attempt to recorrect something, and that's another level. And others may have other agendas. But the thing is that it's a very complex umbrella. It's not black or white. There's multitude of shades of grays in between in terms of the reason, the purpose, how it's done. It is, and I'm familiar with it, but I just want to bring some light to this.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you still have a podcast that you do? Is that correct?
Absolutely. It's called the Infinite Star Connections with my co-host Jeff. The podcast is twice a month, bi-weekly on Sundays, and we just launched season 5 last Sunday on January 14. We just launched the season 5 with great guests, and so we're just starting a new season, and we're pretty excited about it.
Nice. So, if there's anything else that you want to get out, by all means, go right ahead. Whether it be websites or anything, yeah, please go right ahead.
Yeah, that's very kind of you. So people can look at my website. It's beautifully designed. It's experiential. We have an online community with membership. We have free meditation series every month. We have a group healing. So the website is called Infinite Healing from the Stars.com. One altogether lower caps, Infinite Healing from the Stars.com. Go check it out. There's a link to my YouTube. Books I collaborated into. There's a lot there going on. It's going to be a beautiful experience just to look through and just let the energy speak to you. And I think that would be the best way.
All right. Well, Vivian, listen, thank you so much for your time. I always appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and we'll talk again soon, I hope.
That would be awesome. Mike, thank you again so much for having me tonight. Great question. Great flow. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate you. You have a good night.
You have a good night. And thank you, everyone.
Yes, indeed. Bye-bye. All right. So Vivian Chavette, and she's interesting. Very interesting. You hear about all these, people who've got these connections to these, like Dr. Rand, he's got his alien buddy. Peter Kling, he's had the experience with extraterrestrials. I've seen the ships, but no one got out and high-fived my ass, and I wish they would have. But I don't know. I'm waiting for two things. I'll say it again. I've said this several years ago. I remember telling Autumn, I said, I'll be ready to go, that is to my maker, and I said it jokingly, I'm joking, universe, Grim Reaper, stay back. I said, when the Bills win a Super Bowl and I get to actually meet an extraterrestrial, right? So now all this stuff about aliens is starting to come out, or at least the crafts. Bill's got a chance, and so I don't know, crossing my fingers and my toes. All right, so closing shop a bit early here this evening. I will be back with you on Friday, and I have. Let me reach over for this. Who do I have on Friday? Where are we? Oh, Courtney Mickenbell, Civil War Ghost. That's what we're going to talk about on Friday. Then on the 22nd, I've got Marilyn Hughes. And on the 24th, I have Peter Kling. And that is where I'll be closing out the last frequency. It's not dead. I'm going to put it on ice. And when I find the cure for the problem, I will thaw it out and maybe bring it back to life. But right now, I want to focus on some uncensored type shows. I'm going to be covering it all as I always have and saying it like it is, like I always have. And this time, I could do it. I can honestly say, unlike Late Night in the Midlands and the last frequency, Uncensored is not going to be. It's family friendly. I guess it's not little kid friendly, because you never know what could be said on there. Anything could be said. You just don't know. I've always kept it clean and professional, which I'm still going to keep it professional. It's just not going to be as clean. And I've done that for years, and I've been such I guess you could say a Nazi about, swearing on the air. When somebody would F-bomb, I get so mad. And, and now it's like, this Uncensored, a different beast, it's, you gotta, I kind of get with the times, nobody's worrying about what they're saying. Many other places, celestial radio, it's dying. AM, FM radio, it's dying. It's dying. It's, people are getting into cars and they're putting on what they want. They're plugging in their phones and they're Bluetoothing and they're listening and watching what they want. They're not sitting and waiting for their favorite song no more. They're going to go and play that song. They're not, waiting for this TV station to play their favorite show. They're going to just go watch it. So, if this is somebody's favorite show, then they're just going to plug it in. They're going to listen to it. Why do I need to spend tons of money to be on an AM or FM when I get more play right here on the internet than I could ever get on one of those stations? And so, I'm done worrying about all that stuff. I'm just going to have fun until the ride ends. And so with that, I want to thank each and every one of you, wherever it is you may be around the globe, in the chat room, on another planet, or on the other side. This has been a broadcast of The Last Frequency on the VARA network. I ask that you keep your eyes posted to the sky, because you never know what you might see. And keep your ears posted to this broadcast, because, well, you just never know what you might learn. Good night, everybody. So I have one more question. No, maybe people want to answer it. Nah, never mind. Good night.